Yo, what's up, guys? So, I've been asked a lot to make a weak aura add-on macros type of video. I've been putting it off for a while. To tell you the truth, I have this like series I'm making, which is very long. It's like 5 hours of of like a guide, 5 hour guide, which pretty much covers like all of Arena. So from like zero to 2400, or to Gladiator. You know what you need to know: add-ons, UI, macros, how to use LFG, Q strategies at those lower ratings to sort of guarantee that you can get the Sinful Gladiator mount, all this stuff. So be on the lookout for that because it'll be coming very soon. But given the amount of comments about add-ons and my UI and weak auras and all this type of stuff, I thought I'd make this video quite quickly. If you want a detailed list, I've made a Google Doc, which I've put in a Discord server I made for my YouTube channel and Twitch stuff. So I just made it like literally 30 seconds ago. I also have a section where you can ask any questions. So if you want to have a chat, you want to send some gameplay over via Discord, maybe maybe we can build a bit of a community of people that are sort of interested in the warrior gameplay aspects. So um, I'll have a Discord link there. If you join the Discord, there'll be a section called macros and weak auras, and that'll just have like an open Google Doc where I'll just put all my macros that I talk about today, and maybe a list of the add-ons soon too. So let's go into it first. The first thing I want to talk about is add-ons because I feel like I've gotten the most questions about that. So my add-ons are Ability Team Tracker, right? This one lets you see what cooldowns your team has, right? So a big way I use this is if I'm playing a game and I'm wondering how well we're doing. I'll look to my HPAL and I'll see if he has like bubble and trinket and like wall. And if he has all of that and we're like midway through the game, then I know that cool, I'm pretty safe. I'm probably not gonna have to trinket like something small if they've got to go. But if he doesn't have any of that, then I'm scared, right? And same thing with like my mage's ice block and court and all this kind of stuff, right? I recommend getting this. It's just easy to have. It anchors perfectly to your raid frames, your party frames. Sorry. Uh, you should be using raid frames anyway, but yeah, that's a really good one to have. Definitely download this. Battleground enemies. This just puts like a Gladius type thing in rated battlegrounds and BGs, which means you can just like click the targets, your team and the enemy team, without it, taking the entirety of the screen. Right. Really simple, really easy. Big debuffs is really good. What it does is it just increases how easy it is to see, like when you stun something. Oh, I can't stun that thing. Maybe I can like fear this thing. Yeah, so if you see like his whole screen is taken up by the fear, and he has this like fear thing down here too. So like I have like 4 inputs that he's in a fear. Really good if you have trouble seeing, CC on the target, right? But also it shows up more on your teammates too. Definitely download this one. Details, straightforward. Details is really good to kind of review your games really quickly, so you can see your death log. How quickly you died, which I can show you here. Do I have a game that I have? Maybe I'll pick. I'm trying to find one that we lost. Let me see deaths. Okay, we died in this one, right? So I can see exactly like how I died, how long it took. So in this game, it just looks like I died really slowly, right? Like I went from 38% to 0 in like 10 seconds. So I just didn't really receive heals. We are probably But this is a really good way you can kind of break down games, really understand them a bit better, and you can also see the damage breakdown. You can see if you're doing your rotation properly, how many times your like Mortal Combo and Bladestorm unhinged proc, because you can see the casts and the hits. Um, you can just see your general uptime, and I think a big one is the damage breakdown, right? If you're versing like Turbo, your damage breakdown should be kind of like even between both targets, with obviously the main target taking more damage, but a good way to see if you're cleaving correctly is that both targets are taking similar levels of damage. Like the second target should be taking maybe like 60% of the first of your main target, unless they're splitting and kind of being safe. So details, download it. You probably already have it. Everyone has it for raid, but you can use it for arena too. Friend groups. This is just like a quality of life thing. Friend groups just lets you split all of your friends into different groups. So obviously, like I have, like you might have favorites like normal, and like I know the people I queue with a lot. But I also like to just have it broken down in this form because let's say I'm on an alt, I'm looking for some easy threes. I can quickly see who plays healers here, right? And that's my main healer there. But then I have like a couple friends and stuff who I've played with before, and I can see who does what. I can see the PvEers on my list, melee DPS, RBGs, range DPS, etc., etc. People I'm doing boosts for and in progress with. So that my friends list is kind of nicely organized, and I have to organize these ones at the bottom too. So that's that one. Friend groups definitely good to have. Leatrix maps is whatever. These are just like quality of life in game, like Gavmate, handy notes. I use Gladius. You can use S Arena. Just get one of them um, for your what's it called, like the PvP targeting. I use Pawn, which lets me kind of compare the upgrades that I have. It doesn't really work that well for PvP. It is good for PvE. You can sort of see, how much of an upgrade an item is. The issue is like versatility sims very differently in PvP to PvE, so it's not going to be 100% right all the time. But it's like a nice way that you can keep on top of stuff. And I think this is character stats or something, or maybe it just comes with Pawn. But I know like there is a character stats thing linked into Pawn, I think, or Leatrix. Oh no, Deja character stats. Um, so I have like I'm using Streamlabs to record, and then I got like a follow. I'm not streaming right now, but so if you're watching, shout out to Without Kai. I've got TomTom again. This is all like just stuff that's nice to have for in-game Raider IO, this type of stuff. Nameplate cooldowns is what probably people are asking most about, and it's like why when you watch my gameplay, you'll see cooldowns at the top of the character screen. And this is really good for melee because you can kind of see like a lot of the times with Omnibar, uh, let's say I wanted to track like Omnibar is really good for massive cooldowns like Combust and Vendetta, Avatar, Bladestorm, stuff like that. But what it doesn't really do well, and what I think is kind of shit, is like if you're tracking the smaller cooldowns, like the stuns, um, you know, the Paladin's Wall, I feel like Windwalker Disarm, stuff like that, right? You can't really see who did what, especially if you're playing a comp where like maybe disarm is used by both targets, or it's double warlock or something, right? Or like double windwalker, stuff like that, right? With nameplate cooldowns, it's really forcing you to look at what cooldowns that enemy has, right, and play around that. And I just prefer it to omnibar. Omnibar, I felt like I didn't look at enough. Nameplate cooldowns, it makes me super hyper aware of the cooldowns of the enemy target, especially because I'm usually in melee range and I can see both of them, while also having a pretty good idea and being able to see what the healer has too. Because it's split up into like three different sections on the screen, right, on each of their nameplates, it's way easier to track than having like 30 different cooldowns on Omnibar. So I prefer it. I think it's really good for melee. I think the utility isn't as good for what's it called? Healers and range DPS. It's probably a bit. I didn't really use it that much on my Warlock. I used Omnibar more on my Warlock. Raider IO, I mean that's if you're doing keys and stuff. TomTom, again, just quality of life. Trufi GCD, this is just like the spells I cast. I think a commenter kind of asked me to use it, and I have a pretty good computer, so it doesn't affect everything, but I just have it on the right hand side there. Wargame Helper, it just lets you do war games. You can do that in off season, stuff like that. And weak auras, I highly recommend if you're a PvPer. I was a PvPer for like 6 years and never used weak auras, 7 years, maybe even longer. Um, yeah, I literally started using weak auras last year, so I never used these. Weak auras are so good because you can just make a weak aura for anything that you have bad awareness on, right? Let's just say you're not tracking enough, like when the mage is combusting, right? Like you are trinketing too late when combust happens. You can make a weak aura that literally makes a gunshot, fills your entire screen, makes your character like, makes your whole screen red and puts a huge combustion icon in the middle of the screen for like 2 seconds, right? When when combustion is used, obviously that's going to reduce your awareness in other aspects of the game, but it does like let you make quick uh, solutions to awareness issues, but also it just like helps you out generally. You can like put cooldowns on it. Like if you have big cooldowns that you're not really like, if you don't want to like look down here, you can make cooldowns on like your right hand side, like what PvEs do, which is good. I don't have too many weak auras. I just have like a couple that I use. I used to have a lot more last season because of corruption, but haven't needed too many this season. Um, Reflex. This is like the history of the games, right? And you can sort of see it's what I use to track how well I've been doing. One thing to note here is if you slash AFK out, it doesn't record it, so you have to kind of wait to die or surrender to count your losses. So that's why like my win rate looks a lot higher than it probably is. It's because I like a lot of the times I forget. But if you see streamers do surrender, it's one because you get honor for surrendering. So if you're gearing, definitely surrender. Don't just slash AFK. But also it counts it in what's it called? It counts it in reflex. So one thing you can do, I don't know if there is there a way I can just see my losses. Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, because I'll go to negatives, right? I can see like all the different things I lost against ever, right? And I can probably it's probably a way that you can like find a breakdown for it. But if I sort by MMR, we lost to a turbo here, we lost to War SP HPAL like twice. You can sort of see what you're doing good against and what you're doing bad against. Highly recommend getting this one. I didn't before, and I really like it. Okay, so macros are pretty short and sweet. Um, I've got a couple here, and with this Google Doc, you'll see all of them. So the spears are the first thing I want to talk about because I feel like there's two ways to do spears. Uh, you can use at cursor for every spear, or you can do it normally. So doing it normally, you kind of you aim this thing, which is good if you're trying to do like a play like this, right? Where like you can probably get the spear on everything, just the lip of that, right? So it's not actually in the spear, but it's like just hitting it, right? But then I gotta wait for the cooldown on this. But then you have your at cursor one, which is this one, and you will notice that the green doesn't show up anywhere, right? You can just spam it down, and what I find is you can tend you tend to be faster at spearing with an at cursor macro. Um, Whereas with the normal spear macro, you might be like looking too much in the position of it. But once you get a feel for it, the size of the spear, you can kind of get them a lot of the times. I still miss mine mainly with the at cursor macro because I'll do something like leap and then like spam it in one direction. It'll hit like a wall, like the side of a wall. But definitely worth getting an at cursor macro for it. It makes you a bit faster. Just in terms of keybinds to break this down for everyone, I have F as like the circle one. I have Shift F as the at cursor, and I have uh, Alt F as at player. So that just throws it literally on top of me. Which I made that macro at the start of the season, and I have like literally never used it. But it might be good if like you're getting trained and you like just want like you don't want to even aim it at all. You just want to like throw it down on yourself because there's two melee wailing at you. You're probably going to get it. And if you see, this is how the cursor macro works. I just point my cursor towards it, right? Imagine there's a circle around it, and then I throw it, right? A bit faster. One of the things I always do is I also macro in my badge because it has a minute cooldown and lines up perfectly with your spear. Onto other macros. I have a cancel aura bladestorm wall banner macro. So I put cancel aura on pretty much every single button that I can't use while already in bladestorm. One thing I want to note for a lot of people who are coming back to Warrior is that you can do a whole bunch of abilities in Bladestorm now. You can Spell Reflect, Parry, Berserker Rage, Commanding Rallying Cry, right? So the only things you need to really macro out are any damage abilities if you want to like press and execute. Um, you can macro out Charge, so you can like cancel or charge. That's a very, very rudimentary one. Banner, and I think I've got Stun,
Spear has cancel aura on it. I should probably put disarm on it as well. Um, and yeah, pretty much every button that's kind of important for me, I have a cancel aura on it. So I can break the Blade Storm and do it. I think a big one to follow as well is the kick. Where is that kick? Sorry, my macros are very badly organized. Yeah, this one here. So it means that you can Blaze Storm and instantly kick, which a lot of like lower rating casters and healers just like don't think you kick in a Blade Storm. It is worth thinking about like whether it's worth kicking something sometimes when you're Blade Storming, especially if you're running unhinged. Because if you like Blade Storm and you instantly break it, like you're losing a lot of damage from losing these Mortal Strikes. But still very very good to have the functionality there. I have my fears, right? So I have a focus fear macro. Let me find it. It's got some silly syntax on it. I think it's this one. Yeah. So this is essentially just my focus fear. I really like this because actually the focus fear is here. This like the range with a focus sphere, right, is a lot larger than you think because you can actually spam it at max range, right? So I'm out of range here, but what I'll find is like if you do normal fears, you'll miss them a lot. If you just like if I fear this target and try to get this one. A better option is if I need to fear the healer, I can literally spam Control Shift 2 while hitting something, and like that's actually the range, which is way bigger than people expect. That's actually quite a big range, and I fear these three, and I fear that. So you can get these like larger fear radiuses, in my opinion, that you normally get with a focus fear, just because you're really getting the max uh, distance of fear without having to have any chance of potentially missing it on the target you really need to fear, right? So if you like at the end of the day when you're fearing, you really want to fear the healer or DPS if you're peeling. But if you fear anyone else in the process, it's free value. It's an added bonus, right? So definitely get this. That's really helped my gameplay a lot. It makes the game a lot smoother for me as well because I can just leap fear with like just bang bang straight away. I don't have to like click some target and then fear it. Really good. What else do I use? Obviously the intervene macros, which you can just do target equals player and then intervene. I make one for healer and I make one for DPS, right? So my healer one is on 1, on my Naga, and 2 is a DPS. Just straightforward. Knife 3 is a flexible one. Let's say if my macro is not working for some reason, I've typed their name wrong, um, or I want to you know, intervene to like a different type of target, right? Like a totem or a pet or something. I can do that too. Um, and I have a couple more listed. I think another one I want to mention on video is at cursor. At Cursor Leap is really, really nice. This is one I found on Deckle's stream, so go support him too. He's a really good warrior. I always like watching his streams. I got two of my macros. My big macros are from his stream: the heroic throw mouse over, and the Cursor Leap. And then I've got like a Mortal Strike from Magnus's stream as well, which does taunts, which I've uploaded too. So shout out to both of them. They're a really good source of knowledge, and I'd highly recommend watching them. Both good warriors, very very good warriors. Okay, so we have the at cursor leap here, right? And what I like about this is normally you're like trying to place this leap and it's not fluid, right? With mobility abilities, they need to be fluid, but with at cursor, you can almost make it feel like your leap is like a blink, right? Because you can literally do it so quickly. Once you get used to it and you get the speed there. And this gives you the ability to like leap kick stuff. It's one of the reasons, like if you watch my stream, I'll leap a lot of stuns when I get swapped on because I'll just be spamming this as I see them swapping on me, and the stun will hit, but I'll still leap because it's so much faster than normal. Highly recommend this. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, but really good. The heroic throw here, this one's really good. This just means you can mouse over a target and heroic throw. It's good for keeping rogues in combat. It's also really good for killing totems, right? So if I'm wailing away on this guy, let's say this is a mage and this is an Arsham, the Arsham drops a grounding, which is this guy. I can be hitting this guy and just mouse over and hit him, right? Really like that. There's also a mouse over taunt, which I don't really use too much. I just never found I needed to. Okay, so last one I want to talk about. I've got more actually on the Discord,
But I want to talk about this cancel aura macro. So this one is linked to my mount, right? It cancel aura is blessing of protection, and it cancel aura is sweeping strikes. Why would I want to do that? Well, a lot of the times what you'll find is a big way to counter warriors who are in setup comps, right? Is for the SP to grip, the healer towards him. And if you have sweeping strikes up, you are going to break the poly or fear or rep or whatever, right? Breakable CC. You don't really need this if you're in cleave and there's no breakable CC, but it's good to have, right? Because you don't have to press it. The other thing is if you're playing with pallies and you get a bop and you want to get rid of it really quickly, a lot of the times paladins might just bop your disarm, or bop your like stun on you. You can cancel aura on your mount, right? It's a button that you're not going to press by accident in a game. Like you're not going to be hitting someone when you have bop and you want to keep it and accidentally press your mount button, right? So I like to have this on my mount. It's just a nice macro to have. And I think yeah, I've got focus charge and all these basic ones that you'll find on like any website. I didn't really want to talk about too many of the more straightforward ones. I have them listed on the Google Doc, but you probably already know about them. Oh, I got another follow. Hey, bro, Jack. Thanks for the follow. I'm not streaming right now, but I am on OBS, and it gives me the notification when people follow. So the last thing I want to talk about is UI. Sorry, that's not going to be edited out as well. I'm just going to upload this straight away. Um, I like to have like the classic UI, and then the focus is like right under. I actually kind of prefer it to be like here. I think I moved that by accident before. I like to have them kind of like parallel, and so I can see what both targets are doing. And I've always just played with this. UI is super like flexible. I see a lot of like people um, do this, like they'll have their character here and they'll have the enemy here. I've tried that before. I tried at the start of the expansion. Not for me. Definitely not for me. I don't like it. I just my eyes just divert here and to my like enemy to my team, and then here, and then I'm already hitting something here. So I don't know. I find I don't need to do that, but UI is super preference based. The only thing I would recommend is try and get a nice view distance that works for you, so you can see the whole team. Get some arena 1, 2, 3 targeting macros, right? Or not macros, they're key bindings. You can actually just keybind them here. So keybind target arena enemy 1, 2, 3. Um, just on the standard Blizzard settings, and I have them macroed to 4, 5, 6 on my Naga. I will not lie, I don't use them too often because I'm bad and lazy. You shouldn't be. Try and get in the habit of using target enemy 1, 2, 3. It's way better than clicking or tabbing, right? But I'm just like lazy and stuck in my ways. So if you're starting out, you definitely shouldn't do that. So I think that covers most of the stuff I wanted to talk about. Um, yeah, feel free to join the disc. Follow me on Twitch, either twitch.tv wardxyz. It's called Twitch there. Really appreciate your support. I will be streaming more. Um, just I came back to work today, so I'm filming this on my lunch break. Um, and yeah, head into the Discord. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm literally always happy to help. Like, hopefully you guys have realized by now, like, for the people who've sort of come from my first guide, like I will respond to every comment if I can and help you out wherever I can. So feel free to reach out. All right, guys. Hopefully this answered a lot of questions about my UI, and good luck with everything. Peace.